First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
New bear population numbers are out. We'll have those for you later in the show.
2 crashes on I-75 southbound have had lanes blocked today. Is the weather to blame?
And community members are concerned for their children's safety because of the planned relocation of a local counseling company. That's our top story tonight. Good evening. It's Friday, March 25th. I'm Marie Edinger.
And I'm Connor Ingalls. Thanks for joining us. Intensive Treatment Modalities, or ITM, will be relocating to Northeast 6th Street soon. Joey Schatt joins us now in the studio. Joey, what's the concern with this location?
Parents are a little bit worried because the new location is located near 6 preschools and daycare centers. Since ITM treats sexual offenders, some parents don't want the counseling offices anywhere near their kids, and they're doing what they can to make this clear to the city.
This is wrong. We will oppose it. Our neighborhoods perhaps were chosen because we are older and people think you can place a lot of things here that you could not place in the Hale Plantation or Tioga Town.
Neighborhood leaders like Maria Huff Edwards are claiming that ITM only secured the building from the city planning board because they used vague wording in the request for the building. They are making a petition to send to the city planning board and are also threatening to protest. The petition currently has 20 signatures, and they want 10 more from people living in the area who have concerns. Residents are concerned that sex offenders could be walking out of these doors, down these stairs, and into the neighborhoods where their children are going to school. But ITM says these residents have no reason to be worried.
We have been doing this in the community for about 25 years. We've never had an incident of anyone who was under our treatment acting out in the neighborhood or in the vicinity.
ITM also says there is no guarantee that they will even be counseling sex offenders in this new building. Butler tells me that the new building will definitely host their administrative office and general psychology counseling, but there may or may not be sexual offenders treated there. He also notes that they treat a variety of patients, and sex offenders make up less than 20% of their clientele. But some daycare owners are still not pleased.
The last thing we need is the children on the playground and people who are potentially dangerous lurking so close to the facility.
ITM wants to assure the community that offenders can only arrive 10 minutes prior to their session and must leave immediately after, so they won't be sticking around the neighborhood. ITM is relocating from a facility in the downtown area. They are planning to make the move at the end of this month.
Thank you, Joey. A new assisted living facility for people with Alzheimer's is being discussed by the Development Review Board in Gainesville. A 4-story office building on 13th Street next to Gainesville High School will be converted into what will be called the Gainesville Alls Inn. The plan is to keep the facility in close proximity to UF Health. It will have 135 beds and 24-hour staff. Because the facility will be next to residential neighborhoods, a workshop was held last year to get feedback from the community. Even with concerns, the building does meet the requirement of being 100 feet away from single-family residents. But planners and investors now say they're just waiting for the city to approve it.
The plans are with the county, and as soon as they approve it, and so then we will be starting, and hopefully before the end of this year.
The Development Review Board will have more discussion about the plan on April 26th.
Today, Governor Rick Scott vetoed a bill designed to govern GRU a little more independently from the city of Gainesville. Select businesses and residential customers would make up the 5-member authority, but the city commission would still approve those members.
The bill sailed through the House this year and passed unanimously in the Senate. The governor's veto letter suggests he thought it would be a waste to pay for such an authority. The proposed salary was $18,000 a year to compensate for meetings that would be at least once a month.
And it's been a pretty gloomy day out there, hasn't it?
It's the ultimate Netflix and chill day, though, or in your case, WUFT and chill. UF forecaster Amanda Hawley joins us now from the Weather Center. Amanda, it's been raining off and on since last night. Is that pattern going to continue?
I actually think we're going to be mostly dry this evening. Right now here on the UF Live Cam, shows a lot of cloud cover out there. That's going to continue. But right now on Storm Track radar here in north central Florida, we are dry, especially here in Alachua County. There is a complex of storms, showers and thunderstorms moving off the east coast there, but nothing developing right now off the Nature Coast that will be making its way inland tonight. I'm not ruling out a spotty shower redeveloping in just a couple of hours, so I've left rain chances in there. Better chances come in after midnight, and and just before daybreak. Temperatures will be mild as well. It'll be pretty muggy out there, but once we head towards the morning hours, can't rule out a few spotty showers moving in along the Nature Coast. Coming up, though, I'm going to tell you more about your wet and unsettled weekend. Back to you.
Thanks, Amanda. The rainy weather contributed to a rough day on Interstate 75 in Alachua County. Crashes, delays, and detours have been the standard all day long. All southbound lanes had to close after a semi-truck transporting milk overturned this morning. That forced a detour down 441 all the way to Micanopy. And just as soon as the southbound lanes reopened, 2 more semis crashed, causing a huge backlog of traffic all afternoon, though only minor injuries have been reported.
The Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission has released new data on estimates of the Florida bear population. WUFT's Ashlyn Reese has more on what the bear population looked like between the summers of 2014 and 2015.
According to new data released by the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission, the Florida bear population has increased by 60% since 2002.
The increase is really a Florida wildlife conservation success story. We've gone from as little as a few hundred in the 70s. There was estimated 300 to 500 in the 70s to now there's over 4,000 bears in Florida.
This data does not reflect the 304 bears killed during last year's statewide bear hunt. Before the hunt, the FWC estimated there were about 3,500 bears around the state. The new data shows the number was actually about 4,350 during that time period. In order to count the population, researchers set up barbed wire hair corrals with bait inside to attract the bears. Once the bears enter, their hair gets stuck in the barbed wire and is then sent to a lab to be genetically tested.
Barbed wire hair corrals that I spoke of do not sample cubs. So it does not include the maybe 2,000 cubs that were alive in the state when we were sampling.
And some challenged the methodology of the count overall.
The methodologies of the study have not been peer-reviewed by scientists and biologists outside the FWC.
McCown also told me that the presence of bears in eastern Alachua County is growing, another sign that bears are seeking new places to live.
Now, both of the FWC researchers that I spoke with said the bear population is increasing, but it's not up to them to decide whether the bears need help to sustain their population or if another bear hunt will come about in the future.
Others at FWC are in charge of deciding if there will be another bear hunt. Ashlyn Reese, WUFT News.
The FWC spokesman declined to talk about what these numbers mean or if there will be a need for another bear hunt in the future.
With the recent terror attacks in Brussels, University of Florida students planning on studying abroad in Europe this summer are wondering what to expect. UF Study Abroad Services has canceled its next program in Brussels, Belgium, but hundreds of students planning on flying this summer to places like Paris and the UK say they're not too concerned.
What happened there can happen really anywhere, so it's a risk involved, but it's a trade-off too. You can't live in fear of that.
Students planning on Brussels received a cancellation email this week. Brennan Monaco, who's planning to go to Paris, says he hasn't received anything specific from UF relating to safety.
Belgian media is reporting a large police raid in the Saarbrück district of Brussels is now over. 3 were arrested in the raid. Authorities say 1 was carrying a bag of explosive material and has been wounded. The district mayor says that the suspect is linked to the attacks earlier this week and to an arrest made in France. And French police continue to search an apartment building in Paris this morning. The French interior minister said last night's raid ended with an arrest that helped foil another terror plot in France. A French radio station reported the man arrested had been sentenced in Belgium for belonging to a jihadist network. A French TV station reported that explosives had also been found in the man's house. WUFT News First at 5 is just getting started. Coming up, UF launches a new health program.
Plus, the Rolling Stones are holding a concert in Cuba. Those stories and more coming up after the break.
And we've seen a lot of off and on showers, especially earlier on in the day today. I think most of the evening commute will be dry. Here's a look at the live cam over the University of Florida. Pretty muggy out there right now, 75 degrees. Coming up, I'm going to tell you more about your wet and unsettled weekend pattern.